Hey, we're getting into some Lions news and rumors for you folks today. In today's video, that's what we got for you. Mike Valenti talking about the ranking of Dan Campbell. He gives his thoughts. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that one. Again, another player that came up in a trade rumor. We talked about it earlier. I just kind of want to dispel it a little bit. Sam Laporta meeting the Pope. Epic move. Hopefully the Lions now can go ahead and win the Super Bowl for that. And Lions roster. But before we get into today's video, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, you're going to want to subscribe to the channel. Why is that? Because my channel is Lions Talk by Jazz Sports. That's what it's all about. Let's go. Small news here. Ifeatu Melifonwu started out his tenure well off with the Miami Dolphins. This came up, and I thought I'd just talk about it for a quick second because I did like Ifeatu Melifonwu was in Detroit. I wish him nothing but the best. His ability was perfectly fine. It was just the availability. And, when he was here, he had some good times, and then he had the injury times. So I wish him nothing but the best, and hopefully he does fully recover right from a body standpoint, and he can actually play in the NFL for a long career. I have nothing against the guy. I liked him when he was here. He just could not stay healthy. And that was the fact of the situation. So PFF ranked Dan Campbell 9 or 10 out of the head coaches. And the thing came out yesterday. I made a video about it. Someone had him as a top 5. I'm like, that's fine. I'm not mad about someone making him as a top 10. Why would I be mad about somebody putting him as a top 10? Mike Valenti, he went a little bit different, though. He's a little upset. I don't know, he expressed his opinion on it. He says, national media hits the list and says Dan Campbell showing respects, makes top 10. Local bloggers fear whatever you want to call it, and I'm not demanding anybody, probably like people like me. Let me very clear, this is the blogosphere. Let me be very clear, though. Chase whatever you want to chase. It's your passion. If you're Lions and you want to write about it and you eventually want to get into the media, do whatever you want to do, Valenti said. But look at the headline, massive Lions disrespect. And I'm looking at it. Did I read a different article? Did Dan Campbell make a top 10, top 20? Did somebody put Dan Campbell next to Brian Daboll? Here's where Dan Campbell and the Pro Football Focus, and people are bent out of shape about it, and this is why I truly believe people talk about Trump derangement syndrome. I truly think that there's a team derangement syndrome where people cannot talk about their teams anymore. First off, what do you think about that thought in the comments right now? Like the video. The black hole's about to occur. Like the video. That would definitely help out. I like that, people talking about the Lions. I know there's, at least in the news era, as you know, I do part-time for local radio for ESPN in West Michigan. And I talk to Huge all the time about it. This is something we talk about. He's been in the radio business and the news business for 30-some years, and I'm a YouTuber. It came out a different path. And so he always says there is jealousy in that area. He's talked about it before, that he's seen people who did a different route. They get jealous of folks who do it the route that I do it, coming on. And so this type of stuff occurs. Or you have, like he was saying here, the individuals make blogs, so they make articles, and so they're not, working for Detroit News or whatever. They're making their own thing. But guess what, Valenti? They're right to express their opinion whether you agree to it or not. That's the freedom of speech. Now, I'm never going to get mad about someone saying, well, Dan Campbell's a top 10 quarterback. I don't think that's disrespectful at all. I'm not going to put out there a headline, this is disrespect. No, this is just someone's opinion, believing what he is. I think Dan Campbell for sure is a top 10 head coach in this league, given the circumstances. He ain't won a Super Bowl yet, and there's definitely going to be folks ahead of him, Nick Sirianni, Andy Reid. You go down the list. For sure, he's just started his tenure as head coach. He's only been doing this for half a decade. He's got a ways to go. So I don't think it's disrespect. I think when Dan Campbell came into Detroit, that was disrespectful. When everybody ripped on him, including Valenti. Okay? They ripped on him the way that he spoke. So we talk about the disrespect, the connect here, and I agree with him on some aspects, but you got to pull the card here. Y'all made fun of him when he came out and talked about kneecaps and thought he's a moron. Everyone did. I didn't. You know what I did when I heard that speech? I came on and made a video, and I talked about my CO and how it's different having an educated individual run a unit in the Army and compared to somebody who has done it before, more of a sergeant. You can have all the education in the world, but it's not a way of leading of men. But all these educated people in the media, like Valenti himself, ESPN, Sports Center, local, everybody crapped on Dan Campbell when he became a head coach. Oh, he's a dumb man. You don't got a high IQ. He's the worst coach in football. Y'all said that then. And that's perfectly fine then. But now you're going to come out and say, oh, this disrespect's got to stop. With all due respect, Valenti, and I do agree with his takes, and a lot of his takes, actually. He's not really, I listen to him, so it's, but with all due respect, and the way that things go, it's not just certain people, it's everybody's doing it, right? You did it too. You crapped on him. You crapped on Jameson Williams. You've crapped on many different players throughout the years, and it turns, and then you can't turn around and then point the finger at the other people when you did it, right? So, I mean, I've made videos where we talk about disrespect and stuff like that, but you have to have it both ways, like so. But I don't think that. Look, it could the PFF be disrespecting and Florio and all these other people? For sure, we've seen it. That's their opinions. If they want to do that, if they want to think that, that's perfectly fine. I don't care. But we all got to keep it a buck. We all got to keep it a buck here. Hot take. Oh, my goodness. Hot take here. Detroit Lions will not finish as a top 2 team in the NFC North. Dun, 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 from Dustin Adams. Hey. This is the type of stuff I got to read today, folks. So this is stuff that doesn't make sense. Does anyone with the legitimate common sense and an IQ believe the Lions are going to go from first to third worst because you lost Frank Ragnow and 2 coordinators? No. It's not reality. You look at the reality of the situation. You still got your head coach. You still got the talent all around. It's a good team. They're not. I didn't want to really read this. You guys just got to read it yourself. You just got to read it yourself. It's just, to me, I look at this stuff and it doesn't make sense. It's just using common sense, right? Now, if we lost Jared Goff, we had like Jahmyr Gibbs starts going down. You see, like you start seeing Penei Sewell and stuff like that. Okay, we can talk, right? But just because we lose Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn and Frank Ragnow does not mean we're going to take a significant step back from a Super Bowl contender to a mid-level team. That's not happening. Okay, you would have to have way more disaster to strike than that. Could it happen? Yeah. I mean, like I said, you could have all sorts of injuries that happen, bad luck, and all sorts of crazy, anomalous stuff that happens to the Lions, and then anomalous stuff that happens to other teams. But the odds of that is extremely low, and so I think this hot take is dumb. Here it is. DJ Reader could be traded by training camp. Now, I actually talked about this earlier, and I'm not going to say this is dumb or anything. It was that H.A. Epinesa trade we talked about. And actually, I can understand the idea of someone writing this because of the age and everything. It's actually in. I'm not gonna poo-poo it, right? This is something that you could see. But the reason why I'm saying it's not going to happen is because of our interior defensive line is weak due to the fact that Lee McNeil was injured. That's why I don't see this happening. Now, I don't know. Like, things could happen, but I don't see a trade occurring because they don't trust Broderick Martin. They got Tyleik Williams in here, who's a rookie. They wanted to beef up the interior for a reason. So why would you want to beef up the interior than to give up one of your interior, right? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And DJ Reader, yeah, he's 30. He's a little bit older. Still got a lot to offer, especially for a team right now that needs some help on the interior when you're talking about Broderick Martin and Roy Lopez and all the injuries that we had last year upon this defense that just would kind of negate common sense in regards to what I think that the Lions would do, right? This is more of it's a logistical option that they could do 100%, but I don't see that being the case in this one. Would you like to see him traded? Why for yes and for no? Frank Ragnow living his best life, right? Retirement right now. Enjoying watching a bear sunbathing. Not about Chicago Bears, but he's enjoying it. happy he's enjoying his retirement. You know, he's doing everything he can to now fix his life for the future for him and his family. Enjoy the retirement, Frank. Enjoy the bask of your glory. You saved all that money, I'm sure, through your time in Detroit. Now you and your family get to enjoy it. Rest your spine, back, and body. Former Lion. Expectations. They haven't prided Detroit of a player they expect to go into the right direction. Giovanni Manu, I've been talking about him as well. I feel like he's development. Yeah, he didn't do anything last year. He's straight up number 3. But his development is a good thing. Each year you just want him to get a little bit better. And I expect him heading into this season, his development, just like Pride of Detroit, is going to get better. I absolutely believe it. Because he's made strides already, and it's not like crazy strides, right? He had a lot to... You're going from playing football like... the level of competition of 0 to the NFL, it's going to take a little bit of time. But so far the development has been really good, and I agree with this that he will develop into a better player. Man, my head was hurting with these ears. I got to get this thing figured out with my headset. That headset is killer. It's killer. Here, folks, 3 weeks. 3 freaking weeks, man, and we're going to be having a Hall of Fame game. So, or 4 weeks, right? Whatever amount it is. Get ready for that. Guess what? I got to make my graphics again for Lions play-by-play commentary. 4 weeks away, folks, from play-by-play. Can you believe this? 4 freaking weeks. It feels like the off-season flew. 4 weeks, and we get to do play-by-play. It'll be weekly. It's going to go from preseason to hopefully the Super Bowl. So you're going to want to hit that notification bell. You want to subscribe because the party is about to begin relatively shortly. I've enjoyed this little break. I got a couple more weeks of break, and then it's hard charging for the next 6 months. With that said, folks, adios.